different people penetrate different kinds of misinformation and disinformation. And each one requires its own approach in how we respond to it. Um, let's start off with bad actors. For example, these are foreign governments and their agents who intend to disrupt and undermine American democracy. Um, the Russians have been doing it for decades, and they're clearly very good at it, as evidenced by where we are today. Then there are propagandists. This is anyone who uses half-truths and lies to control a political narrative and gain power. I suppose you could list all of the administration, the current administration in that category, right? They'll say anything, do anything to control the narrative and to maintain their power. Then there are partisans. These are people who want their side to win at any cost. Then there are the useful idiots. These are people who may want to validate their own opinions while falsely believing that they haven't chosen sides. So they really kind of just don't mean ill. They're just not really swift. And then there are the bystanders. These are people who may not recognize the falsehood that they've just posted or said, and they roll in spreading it when they engage with it. And actually, by the way, that includes all of us. We've all done that inadvertently. We've posted something that we thought was the truth and it isn't. And I mean, I remember even I got someone, posting, replying to me saying, that was debunked. You should take this down. So we've all done this. So let's start with the bad actors. Here's the scenario for that. You come across a post that is an egregious falsehood and you suspect a bad actor. Remember, those with the intent to undermine and disrupt our democracy. You don't engage with it or with the person. You do not engage with the post. You do not reply. You don't give that post any kind of air. If you do that, you're actually bumping it up. You make your own new post on your own social media accounts with factual information, with a warning that there's misinformation or disinformation being spread. So that's how you counter that. Remember how the algorithm works. You do not want to inadvertently help deceitful content gain greater attention. And the minute you engage with deceitful content, you are giving it air. Even though you desperately want to say, what are you talking about? And you hit reply. So bad. You don't do that. In any of these steps, and if any of these steps seem complicated, don't worry. We will, as John said, we're going to be conducting some in-depth training on how to do all of this in the future. So don't worry.
So in the second example, we want to talk about propagandists. They might seem the same, but they have a slightly different intent. Remember, these are the people who want to control the political narrative. They're doing this for their own power. So in this particular hypothetical example, let's say you're checking out a YouTube video and it might be from Taylor Swift or maybe some other artist, but it's about something that might be popular and getting a lot of views on its own. And that's when you notice that someone in the comments has posted something that's intentionally politically provocative. It's some kind of outrageous falsehood, but in either case, it's intended to hijack attention and steal the spotlight so that they're gaining the eyeballs that have been accrued at in this particular place. So what do you do about that? Well, first of all, don't engage with it. Don't engage with the comments or with its links. Do not reply to it. Do not even reply to those replies that you agree with in case people get sucked into a conversation with it. And why don't we do these things? Because as Lisa was saying with the other content, you don't want to give it attention. Even hovering over it with your cursor is picked up by the algorithms. But you certainly don't want to validate it in any way with any kind of engagement that's being measured by the algorithms, because the way the algorithms work is that they think, oh, this is getting engagement, this is getting reaction, This must be what other people want to see, so it's going to show it to other people. So here we're saying the thing to do is ignore it as much as possible. But like in the other case with bad actors, we don't just leave it out there. What you can do within that same post, so if it's a Taylor Swift video, start your own new comment and start to talk about the antidote to whatever needs to be said in reaction or in response to correct whatever misinformation or to draw attention away from it and more towards your thread. And if you're lucky, more people will engage with your comment, including the troll might originally engage with your comment because then your comment will be elevated. But the point here is do not give that troll any sunlight. And even on your thread, don't reply to that troll if they're trying to bait you into a conversation or an argument. These are pugilists. So this is about remembering the rules of the algorithm and using them to our advantage every time and making a decision about where we want to direct other people's attention and where we want content to be ignored.
Okay, so remember the partisans, they're the ones who want to win at any cost. So in this example, you see a public post from an elected official, say, such as Mikey Sherrill. Someone like a troll has posted a comment that directly attacks Mikey Sherrill using false and deceptive claims. Again, same instructions. You don't engage with the content, with the comment. You don't comment on it. You don't engage or name that person. So in other words, if the troll has made some horrible false claims, you don't ever use that troll's name. You don't reply to the posted comment, or again, as John had said previously, to any replies to that comment on the thread. Again, it's the algorithm saying, oh, look, it's gaining attention. This is what people really want to talk about. Let's elevate it. But what you can do again is you make a brand new positive reply in Mikey Sherrill's post, and you provide the factual information and links. If you have links to support what your claim is, then you add that. That actually will get a lot of engagement. You share Mikey's original post. Here's another thing that's actually important. You take Mikey's original post and you share it to your own social platforms and you make positive comments about it there. And that's really how you start propagating the information that you want to get out there. Then people will reply to your post on your socials. So that's really another way to start sharing and getting out the good information that you want out there.
So another example is when we come across the group of people that we lovingly refer to as useful idiots. We call them that because remember, these are the people who just want to validate their own opinions. They see something and it resonates with their own sense of emotional truth, whatever that means, but it's probably not factually correct. And whether they realize it or not, they may not necessarily be intentionally trying to participate in spreading misinformation and disinformation, but they think that their emotional truth is being expressed here. So what do you do about that? How do you engage them? In this particular example, this might be a fake news video about something that's not true, such as the video that's posted in this example here. So how do you engage them? Well, first of all, you got to check out and see, is that video or whatever thing they've posted, is it actually getting any kind of engagement at all? In other words, is it already earning attention from others? Because sometimes the best thing to do is nothing. Just let it go, roll right past it and ignore it. But if you do see that people are engaging with it and other people are commenting on the post, and you really think that maybe this is one you need to respond to, don't respond to the post that they made directly. Again, this is about not giving it additional attention. So any engagement will give it more attention. You don't want to do that. Instead, in the most respectful way possible, make a new post and maybe do it on their page. And you're voicing that you have a different viewpoint on the topic. So you're not telling them they're wrong. You're not putting them down. You're not arguing with them. It just suggests you have a different view. And then offer some additional information, links, give them an alternative viewpoint and an alternative stream of information and invite them to consider it. Leave it there for them. Leave that horse to water and trust that other people will see your post and start to drink from it. Because we're not here to argue and we're not here to convince people. That never works. No one has ever won an argument with somebody else online. And in fact, actual psychological studies have shown that when people start to argue, they may have been somewhat in agreement on some points, but by the time they're done, they're in complete disagreement on everything the other person has to say. So that's why we also want to really point out the importance of not trying to convince anybody of anything. Don't try to argue, don't try to proselytize, and certainly do not be moralistic or express any judgment. You're just offering basic information and inviting them to consider that you have a different viewpoint, and here's that information. Because what we find is that when you approach people with humility, and if you meet them where they live without judgment, and you actually talk to them in a way that validates who they are, on their own, they're gonna realize the strength of what you're saying and the strength of the facts that you're offering.
Okay, so now we have the bystanders. Remember, they don't think they're posting or promoting falsehoods. They're really innocently just posting content that they think that they like, that they think is accurate. So a friend has made a post or a comment or shared content that has false or misleading claims, and you believe that they may not realize it. So what do you do? The first thing you want to do is check and see if this post has low engagement. You don't see likes, you don't see loves, you don't see anything building, at which point you don't reply you don't reply to the post. Instead, what you want to do is you want to send that person a private message and respectfully, we're back to that, respectfully ask if they're aware that their statement is perhaps promoting falsehoods. And then you can share with them some factual evidence or a reputable source of information to show them that what they're posting is inaccurate. And you do that again, as John said, in a respectful way, because what you want to do is get people ultimately to start checking what they're posting before they post it, the accuracy of it. Stay away from being accusatory, don't shame them. Think of this as doing them a favor, right? Like when you see something on the corner of someone's mouth and they need to wipe it off, like go like that. But if you see people engaging on the post, then you make a new comment on the post and you politely suggest that you think the content might be false or misleading. So if you see a lot of people have responded to it, then you need to bring attention and say, I think perhaps this is not correct. And then you can offer a link to support your view and suggest maybe they examine a new perspective on their own. Again, we're not here to enforce the truth. You're just leading the horse to water. So no matter what you do, whatever and wherever you post, always check your information. Use reputable sources to do that. We don't want to be part of the problem. There's plenty of people out there that are not fact checking, that are spreading all this horrible information, misinformation, disinformation. So we really want to be the harbingers of truth.